George Seurat was born December 2nd, 1859, into a wealthy family in Paris. George Seurat first studied art with Justin McQueen, a sculptor. Seurat attended the École des Beaux-Arts in 1878 and 1879. After a year of service at Brest Military Academy, he returned to Paris in 1880. He shared a small studio with two student friends before moving to a studio of his own. For the next 2 years, he devoted himself to mastering the art of black and white drawing. He spent 1883 on his first major painting, a huge canvas entitled Bailers at Asnières. After his painting was rejected by the Paris Salon, Seurat turned away from such establishments. He then joined a small group of fellow artists. There he met a fellow friend, Paul Signac. Seurat shared his new ideas about pointillism with Signac, who also painted in the same way. In the summer of 1884, Seurat began work on his masterpiece, A Sunday Afternoon on the Island of La Grande Jatte, which took him 2 years to complete. Later, he moved into a quieter studio nearby where he lived secretly with a young model. In February 1890, she gave birth to a son. It was not until 2 days before his death that he introduced his family to his parents. Shortly after his death, his mistress gave birth to a second son, whose name is unknown, and who died soon after George did. The cause of George's death is uncertain, but they believe it was from pneumonia, and they also believe that his second son, who passed away, also died from the same disease. While he was sick, he was working on The Circus, which was a piece that was left unfinished at the time of his death. George's style and technique. A few of the subjects that George used were abstract, figure, landscape, and scenery. George first started out with black and white drawings. He was really focused on expressing the essence of light in a piece of art. He used a form of brushstroke that would make the pieces extremely detailed. Seurat would also often scrape off parts of the finished piece in order to highlight certain areas of the finished drawing. George Seurat's later career was marked by his interest in the science of color. The theories on color were based around the basic principle that if two color dots overlapped, that the third color would be formed. This later led to pointillism. Pointillism is a technique of painting in which small distinct dots of color are applied in patterns to form an image. This was a branch off of Impressionism. The following slides are a few of George's pieces of art. The first we have here, a riverbank. This was done in 1883. These first couple pieces show George's work with the brushstroke on how he used the firm parallel strokes or faint outlines to bring out an object in a painting. The next we have is The Morning Walk. This was done in 1885, and this was also the brushstroke. Here we have George's piece entitled The Lighthouse. This was done in 1886, and this is different than those first two. This one is done by the pointillism. Here we have The Circus, done by George in 1891. As you can see, 1891 was the year that George passed away. They say that this was the last piece that George was working on. He did not get to fully complete it. And last we have George's most popular piece, A Sunday Afternoon on La Grande Jatte, which that is the island that he moved to after he got out of the army. This was done in 1886, and this piece is 7 feet by 10 feet wide and tall. This was the piece that got George's career started off